Hello all, welcome to my channel. This is Rajshekar, and today in this video we'll see how to extract Kaggle datasets within our Databricks workspace. We'll split this video into two concepts. One, we will authenticate our Kaggle account using username and API key. And once the authentication is successful, we will try and download the competition datasets into our Databricks root path and extract the zip files. By default, whenever you start your clusters in Databricks, the Kaggle module is not available and you need to install the same using pip install Kaggle. However, in this video, we will first check if the module is available and then we will attempt to install only if the module is not available in our clusters. This will save our time if you're working with multiple modules and you're not aware of the available modules within the Databricks workspace. And instead of installing the same again and again, we will first check and then only we will install the desired modules. Once the authentication is successful, we'll download the competition datasets using the competition name. You need to have a competition name or the dataset name wherein you need to download that into our Databricks workspace. We will first check whether if the data set is available in our path, because if the data set is very large, you do not want to attempt downloading the same again and again. So first we will see if the data set is available in our path, and then only if it is not available, we will download using Kaggle API key. And within Databricks, the data sets already gets extracted or gets downloaded within the root path called Databricks drives, and then from that particular path we will extract the files into our file stores and tables. And then finally, once the files are extracted, we will delete the downloaded zip file and then we'll start with working on data analysis or model building and whatever you like. Before we start working with Databricks, we need to get the Kaggle API key from our Kaggle account. Click on your username on the top. This is my Kaggle profile, and within this, you need to click on the account. So this will come to this page, and you need to click on this button called Create a New API Key. This will create a JSON file and upload the JSON file with the credentials into our Databricks workspace, and then we'll start our authentication of our Kaggle account. So this is my Databricks community edition and my cluster is started. I've uploaded the JSON file in the DBFS path. If you could see the file stores, tables, and I've created a folder called Kaggle token. And within this Kaggle token, I've uploaded the Kaggle JSON file. And if you are not aware of how to upload these files, please watch my earlier videos wherein we have shown to upload different files in different formats, right? So we will start working on it. Yes. This is my Kaggle JSON file path. Okay. Uh, in this, my credentials are there, the username and the key. The JSON file, I've created a Spark data frame using spark.read.json options and then the loading JSON file. I've created two variables called Kaggle username and Kaggle key, which contains my specific details. If you could see here, the data frame contains two column names. One is the key and one is the username. And within these, using these columns, I've created two variables called Kaggle username and Kaggle key. Next, we will start authenticating our username and key. So to authenticate, we need to import OS and set the environment to Kaggle. I'll write os.environ. Within this, I'll write as Kaggle username is equals to Kaggle username, this variable. I'll copy this and paste it here. And the same os.environ, and this would be Kaggle key. We are Kaggle key, and this is this one, the Kaggle key which we have just created, right? Once these environment variables are created, we need to download our Kaggle API from kaggle.api.kaggle underscore API underscore extended import Kaggle API. Just check on the capital letters. K is capital and A is capital. And then we will create an instance called API is equals to Kaggle API. And then using this, we will authenticate. API.authenticate. Once the authentication is successful, we will write as print the authentication is successful, right? This is just for our convenience. Authentication is successful. But if I run this now, I will get an error message just because, as I have informed you all, the Kaggle module is not predefined or preloaded within our Databricks workspace. So what I could do is I can create a function as authenticate Kaggle with the username Kaggle username and Kaggle key, right? So I would put this entire code within the function and I would return our API, return API. So this is my function. So it does not have errors as of now, even though we have not downloaded our Kaggle API. So what we could do is I'll run this cell and I create a new cell here. I will try running the above function API is equals to, I'll try to run this above function, copy this and paste it here. And if it is successful, then it is perfect. And if it isn't successful, then I would write as except exception, whatever we get as E. We will print that exception, and then we will also print installing the modules using pip install Kaggle, right? So this is the module which we need to install, but however, we do not have this module at this moment in our Databricks workspace. So what we could do is we could import our sys module and we also import our sub process modules. And then we will use the sub process dot check call. So we are calling our pip install Kaggle. So within this, we will write as sys dot executable. This is our executable code. That's why we are writing this, and -m, and then write we pip install, and then whatever the module name. The module name is Kaggle in this case. We will write this, and we will write as API. Yeah, this will install our Kaggle module, and once this is installed, we will try and run this code again. This here, right? So this should work now. So what we have done is like we have created a customized function to authenticate Kaggles, and we know for sure that the module Kaggle is not available, and we'll check in this try and accept thing. Once it is not available, it goes into the accept path. It will install Kaggle, and then we should have this function, right? No module named Kaggle. This is the error which we have printed here. And after that, we have started installing pip install Kaggle, and now the authentication is successful. This statement is coming from this particular function. The authentication is successful, right? Now, to download a particular data set or a competition data set, we need to go into our Kaggle account. Say, for example, this is one of the competition which I wanted to download the data set and work on this. So if you could check on the top, this is the competition name. So what we could do is like we will copy this and we create a variable called competition name. Competition name is the same thing which we have copied from the Kaggle. This is the dataset which we want to download, and in this data we have so many files, data, sample, submissions, and these are all files which we wanted to extract into our Databricks workspace to work on this particular project, right? So this is our competition name. I'll also create a file path wherein I want this file path to have, I mean, if you could remember earlier, we have mounted our AWS S3 bucket, right? So I'll check the mount path. So this is my AWS S3 mount path, okay? And this, and I'll also have this Kaggle datasets in my S3 bucket. So this is my path, right? So within this Kaggle datasets, I have many other datasets wherein I want to extract this particular thing. So I close this cell. So I would write as mount Kaggle datasets. This is my file path. Okay, I want to extract the dataset within this particular path, right? So I run this cell. So I've created two variables, one the competition name and the file path. To download the competition dataset, it is simple. We have created an API variable here. And if you could press tab here, there are multiple functions within the Kaggle. Here you have competition list files. You can check the different competitions available. You can also submit directly from your Databricks account. But for now, what we would do is we would use this particular function called Databricks competition download files, this one, files and file. So if you want to download single file, you can use this single file, or else you can have multiple files. So I would write as competition download files. So this is the function which I wanted. So I want to give the competition name. I copy this, copy and paste it here. I will, so once it is done, if you run this particular cell, the data set will gets automatically downloaded. However, you do not know where this particular competition has been downloaded. Now, to check the data path where we have downloaded our data sets, we would write this command called dbutils_fs.ls. This is the path wherein our data sets are downloaded. We'll run this cell so that we can check our data set. So this is the data set name. So we will search it for that particular data set, right? So this is the data set which we have just downloaded. However, this is in zip file. So what I can do is like I would import the zip file module, okay? And then within this, I would comment this, or I would delete this, okay? I don't want to display this. I'll have this uh, this command, I'll write it inside this, and within this I would write with zip file dot zip file. I would enter the path. This is the file path. Okay. I copy this file path and paste it here. This as ZP. ZP is a short form for zip file. You can use anything. ZP dot extract all. So we are extracting all the files within this particular zip folder to a default location called competition name. So whenever I download this file, I want to create a folder called the competition name, whatever we are downloading it, competition name. So this ensures that the entire zip files in our Kaggle datasets will be downloaded for that particular thing, for that particular competition. What I could do is I would move this, I mean this file, and I'll run this cell once just to show it to all. So it has been extracted to a particular file path. So I would write dbutils .fs.ls. I would write as file Databricks driver. Sorry, I would check in this particular path so that it will be visible in our this thing. So this is not clear. I would write as display file function. Just a minute. I would write display and then run this. So in this, if you could scroll it down, somewhere our downloaded file will be there. Yeah, this is the file path wherein the entire dataset has been downloaded or extracted. Okay, I'll just check it out. So these are all the different files which are available within the Kaggle competition, and we have extracted this zip file in this particular location. What I wanted to is like I don't want to keep the entire things in this particular thing because this is inbuilt path which Databricks uses for many of the different things. What I could do is I would copy this, and I would transfer all the files from here to our regular file stores path. So I would write as dbutils dot fs dot mv is for move. I would write this from this path. I would change our things to file store. In fact, without the file stores, what I could do is this is the Amazon Web Services S3 bucket. So I would transfer the entire files to this particular path. And in this, I want to create uh, a a directory called competition name. And then, so this does is like it creates a separate directory within this Kaggle datasets. And then it will start extracting all these files into this particular S3 bucket, right? So what I could do is like instead I'll put a slash here, I'll run that particular command again. So when I run this, the entire files will be moved from this. I mean, we will not have anything from here in this particular location, so that I would completely remove it. And before we move further, I would delete this particular zip file so that I don't have any extra files, the same files again and again, right? So what I would do is fs.rm and I would write delete this thing. This is the zip file which I wanted to delete. And then I can write as print datasets, datasets are downloaded. So once it is done, it gives a message called the datasets are downloaded. I will run this I think somewhere we have an issue. Unless recurse is set to true, we need to make the recurse as true, and then I'll run this cell again, right? So this is running. What it does is it downloads the Kaggle competition dataset from this. It will be downloaded in this particular file path. And from this, we are extracting all the zip files into this particular file path, this path. And then we are moving the entire files from here to our Amazon S3 bucket using this particular file path. This is our Amazon S3 bucket, which we have mounted earlier in our videos. And then once it is done, it has taken around 26 seconds and the datasets are downloaded. So we'll go to our Amazon S3 bucket and check whether the dataset has actually been transferred or downloaded into that particular file or not. This is our Amazon S3 account. This is my buckets. These are different buckets which I have already created earlier. And within this bucket, this is the bucket which we have mounted earlier. Uh, and within this bucket, we have a folder called Kaggle Datasets, which I have created earlier. And this is the one which we have extracted from our Kaggle through Databricks into our Amazon S3 bucket. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 files which we have extracted from Kaggle dataset. Imagine if this data set is in the form of some billions of GBs, like some 10 GB or 15 GB, and downloading this particular files and using this entire code will be a tedious job. So what we could do is we will download the files if and only if the data set is not available in the allocated file path, or else we will download, because in this way it checks first for the available dataset, and if the dataset is available, we'll continue with our data analysis or model building. So what I could do is I will create a function called download competition, and this is just a custom defined function. Within this function, I will pass the competition name so that I can use this particular function and download or extract any competition dataset from the Kaggle. I'll also give the file path, which in this case is this one. Say, for example, if I want to mount another S3 bucket, so simply I can give the file path in this so that the entire dataset will be downloaded or extracted into that particular file path. So this is my function. I will not written anything in this. Just a minute, we have forgot the syntax here. So the custom function is defined. What I would do is I will create another function, like I will try to check whether the files are available in that particular file path. So I would write as file path plus dot format. So this is the path which we wanted to check. If it is available, then we would write all the data sets are available. All the data sets are already downloaded, just to give us a message, and are available for your analysis, and are available for the analysis or model building, whatever it is. Yeah, this is just a message which we wanted to type, and we'll display the path, this particular path. So what I would do is I'll do in this particular path, all our data sets are available. This will give a message to the user whenever the data sets are available, so that he doesn't have to check and again while for particular path, right? So I'll also write exceptions, except as exception as E. So whenever we do not have a associated file path, what it does is it gives a message called java.io.file not found exception, not found exception. So this is a predefined message which normally the Databricks gives if the files are not available in that particular path. I will check for this particular message in this. If it is available in this, then what we would do is we would run this particular function, right? So what we are doing is we are checking for the files if it is available or not. If it is not available, then only it will start running this particular block of code. So I would enter this in a particular function, def extract files. I would give competition name and the file path here, and then I would give some indentation in this. That's done. So we have done with our code. What we could do is I'll create a separate notebook. Okay, is download files, extract files. So within this particular notebook, I would run this particular thing. What I would do is percentage run this thing, and within this, I will also have these two variables. So this I'll have competition name and the file path. Okay, run this, run this. So I would use this final function, extract file. Okay, I'll copy this and paste it here. Okay, so what it does, it first checks whether the files are available. If it is available, it shows that the data sets are already downloaded and are available for our analysis in this particular path. So this is our Amazon S3 bucket. And then say for example, if you want to download another file, say for example, this is our Kaggle competition again. I've already accepted the rules within this particular thing. You need to accept the rules before we download anything. This is the data files. So what I would do is I would extract all these files. Okay, so this is a competition name. I will copy this competition name. Okay, instead of this thing, I would paste it here, competition name. Okay, and the file path would be exactly the same. I would run this cell and I would run again this cell. So now it will show us this particular file path where we have our files downloaded. Now we have an error message here that this file does not exist. In the earlier file, we have done a small mistake. Instead of writing the names here, we could write as the competition name, because competition, sorry, we write as format competition name, and this should work, I think. We'll run it again. We'll run all these cells and we'll check it again. So we have an error message in the downloading datasets here. Line number 6. I think somewhere we have done a mistake. I think so this, I think this should run now. Again, the same mistake. Yeah, we'll run all these things again. It is successful, the authentication is successful, the data sets are being extracted, and this is where the data sets are available. So this is our Amazon S3 bucket, and this is the new competition which we have downloaded, predicting red hat business values. And all these are in zip files. Again, you have to extract these zip files, and you will have different files working and running in your Databricks account. So that's it for this video. Thank you all. Thank you very much for watching. Thanks a lot.